Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here with Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes on this Monday morning, the 4th of March, and gloom and doom loom in much of the east and south with potential for heavy rains starting uh, during from Tuesday, probably through Saturday, though it doesn't rain every waking minute. But it is going to be a relatively miserable week. We'll be talking about that tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. And let's take a look at the satellite loop this morning because we have a system. Now, I was commenting last night on the Joe and Joe Weather Show how the setup in the eastern part of the United States for tomorrow kind of looks like something you would see late in the spring. We have a weak low that is forming off the North Carolina coast. It's not going to strengthen into anything substantial in terms of the actual surface low, but there's quite a bit of moisture that's gathering here. It's like a tight little ball of heavy rain that is forming, and that is moving to the north. Now, add to that all this western energy that's been coming in since the blizzard of late last week and this weekend. Well, a lot of that energy is going to be coming eastward. So, as each one system goes out, it's quickly followed up by another one, and it's going to mean for very wet weather conditions. As of this morning, we don't have any watches or warnings to worry about in the eastern part of the United States or in the south. We do have some dense fog along the Gulf Coast that we're dealing with and parts of the southeast coast, but other than that, it's quiet. In the west, still a few winter storm warnings up in parts of Northern California and Southern Oregon. That'll play through today, as well as some counties in west central Colorado. But I would expect that we're going to start to see as we go through this week areas that are going to start putting up flood watches up in the eastern and part of the United States as well as the south because of the substantial rainfall that's going to occur. Rain is going to be spread out over 5 or 6 days, which makes it perhaps a little less of a problem. But nonetheless, I think there will be some issues. And here's that little surface low we're talking about. Again, it's not much, but there's a push of warm tropical air moving up the eastern seaboard with this first round of rain. Now, today, we've got some low cloudiness that we're dealing with, but overall, we don't expect any rain during the daytime here on Monday. Probably see the sun try to break through from time to time and from place to place, especially during the first part of the day. But gradually, we're going to see those clouds take over, and also more of an onshore wind. So you can forget about record highs. I don't think you're going to see anything close to that today, as temperatures range from the 40s for highs along coastal locations in southern and southeastern New England and coastal New Jersey to maybe some 60s as you go far enough inland into southern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey and points south and west. And here's the beginnings of it in the radar, this little comma shape that you see off the Carolina coast. But the radars otherwise across the eastern part of the United States and down through the south and Midwest are quiet. We've got some showers moving through parts of Iowa into Wisconsin. And also, we're seeing some rain and snow, but it's a little bit more scattered around in the Northwest. Take a look at WPC's rainfall forecast for the next 7 days from coastal Maine down through much of central and southern New England, through New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania, and points southward, and then across the south. We're looking at areas of 2.5 to as much as 4 or even 5 inches of rain being forecast over the next 6 days, and precipitation extending back as far as the Ohio Valley and into the Mississippi Valley as well. In the west, it's mostly in Northern California and on up through the coast of the Pacific Northwest, where several inches of more of rain will occur there, and still some pockets of a half to 3/4 of an inch of additional liquid precip that'll translate into snow in the mountains of Oregon, into the northern part of the Sierra Nevadas, as well as the northern Rockies. And taking just a quick look here at the probability of snow over the next 72 hours, absolutely nothing in the eastern part of the United States. We continue to see higher probabilities being indicated in the west on top of the feet that has fallen there. So, looking at the GFS from overnight, uh, the models have been very consistent with this. Here's the first low, and this is early Tuesday morning. Rain. We're talking about after midnight tonight. You can see the low moving up the coast with some heavier rains in parts of northeastern Virginia through Delaware. That plays out as the low moves northward. The wind is off the ocean, so Tuesday is going to be a raw day with most temperatures in the upper 40s and low 50s in many locations in eastern PA to southern New England. The rain should start to come to an end from southwest to northeast during later Tuesday morning into Tuesday afternoon. We catch a short break, and then the second low comes out from Georgia and moves northeastward to North Carolina with an arm of heavy rain that moves in during Wednesday morning up the coast into Wednesday afternoon and evening. And then that low moves out and actually strengthens a bit. So it might wind up getting a little bit on the windy side Wednesday night and Thursday with an ocean wind. And then finally, that low moves out during the day on Thursday. A short break comes in for Friday before the next low comes along. And this one is going to track to our west. We'll probably have a little secondary in there as well. So we're looking at rain for Friday night into Saturday afternoon before that low moves on up into southeastern Canada, and perhaps weather conditions will improve nicely come next Sunday. Meanwhile, just to cover the area in the south, we're dealing with this low for Wednesday, pushing heavy rains across the deep south Tuesday and Tuesday night into Wednesday with a short break, and then another round of rain coming for later Thursday night and Friday and into Friday night, some of that being heavy, and then that moves on out, and then more rain for Saturday into Saturday night before weather conditions improve in the south on Sunday. And in the west, these impulses are weaker than what we saw over late last week and over the weekend, with some scattered showers there, covering some areas of rain and snow across the plains and the central Rockies. And as we get into next weekend, something a little bit stronger coming into the Pacific Northwest and being followed up by yet another stronger system as we move into the early part of next week. So obviously, a very busy weather pattern that is setting up, and we're going to get into it in great detail tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Let me just correct the time tonight is at 8:30 Eastern Time, so we have an 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time start for the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Have a great day. We'll see you later.